from today's TMJ4.
This is breaking news now.
And that breaking news now on Live at 4. It has been 6 months since a 5-year-old Milwaukee girl was shot and killed, and there are still no arrests. Police hope to change that. They are raising the stakes to find out who killed Layla.
She was sitting on her grandfather's lap last November when gunfire erupted and bullets came flying into the home, hitting her.
Our Julia Fellow is live near 58th and Fairmount, where that shooting happened. Julia?
And Courtney and Steve, at any minute now, this press conference should begin. We're waiting for a big announcement. There's supposed to be a big dollar amount reward to find who's responsible for this little girl's death. The families say they changed the venue to here, to where it all happened, right in front of their grandparents' home 6 months ago to the day, to send a powerful message to the community that they need closure. I'm told the new reward to be announced will be extremely significant. We still do not know the exact dollar amount. 6 months ago, 5-year-old Layla Peterson was sitting on her grandfather's lap watching TV when more than a dozen bullets sprayed into this home. Police say one of the guns used in the shooting has been linked to several other shootings, but still no one is in custody. We hope to find out what that big reward is, and if there's any more new developments. We're still waiting for some people to arrive here, and when this begins, we will take it for you live. Reporting live from 58th and Fairmount, Julia Fellow, today's TMJ4.
All right, Julia, thanks. More local news now. Police are looking for an armed robber after an employee of Marquette University was held up. This happened near 16th and Clybourne just before 6 this morning. The victim was not hurt. Extra police and sheriff's deputies will patrol this weekend in Fond du Lac County just as prom and graduation season begins.
Officers will be looking for drunk drivers, according to the Fond du Lac Reporter.
The weather could be a little iffy for prom goers and graduates this weekend. One thing you don't want to see is wet taffeta.
We're getting a taste of summer before that, though. What's going on for tonight, Scott?
Well, things are going to be improving, actually, around the area for tonight. Earlier today, hello, everybody. Happy Midweek Wednesday from Storm Team 4 Max Radar. We had a few little showers that rolled through the northern part of the viewing area from Dodge through Fond du Lac, Sheboygan, and Washington counties, amounting to a hill of beans. And the rest of the area staying dry, but boy, it has been foggy throughout most of southeastern Wisconsin first half of the day, improving back off to the west now. In fact, from our tower cams inland, you can see in Pewaukee and then even farther to the west in Madison. Beautiful sunshine breaking through otherwise the thin clouds out there, and that is leading to warming temperatures. 63 warm degrees now in Pewaukee, and many locations in Waukesha and Jefferson County now topping 70 degrees, but cooler near the lake, as we say this time of year. 54 degrees at Milwaukee's Mitchell with an easterly breeze at a half dozen miles an hour. And your weather word for today is frozen. The computer is frozen, but your weather word is surge. Temperatures, wind, and moisture will all surge as we head into tomorrow. I'll let you know when we could touch near 80 degrees in your Storm Team forecast coming up.
Scott, thanks. A thank you to a local deputy, some 80 years in the making.
Mike Jacobs in the newsroom with a story coming up new on Live at 5. Mike?
Thanks, Courtney and Steve. Well, a ceremony was held downtown today honoring law enforcement officers who were killed in the line of duty. We'll have the amazing story of a sheriff's deputy who died back in the 1930s and how he is finally being remembered. That's coming up on Live at 5, guys.
Okay, Mike, thank you.
It may be spring, but many companies are already hiring for the busy summer season.
Applicants at the Hire Live job fair in Brookfield got more one-on-one time than usual. Each company had its own suite. Hiring managers say job fairs are a great way to find good people. Sometimes they'll even hire more than they were planning on.
If someone has experience, that's great, but if they're very, very outgoing, we will train the right individual.
I'm kind of looking for a career change, so it's nice to be able to like sit down and talk with people instead of just saying out a resume and then hoping you get a call back and stuff like that.
If you missed today's job fair, Hire Live already has 2 more planned for the Milwaukee area. Those details on our website, TMJ4.com.
Coming up, the one person who had the biggest financial influence on your life.
And the tool that can help moms track their baby's first few weeks, share memories, and stimulate a child's learning.
And as we go to break, another live look at the scene on the northwest side of Milwaukee where police are set to announce a major reward in the 6-month-old murder investigation that has not turned up any suspects. Layla Peterson shot and killed inside that house you see right there 6 months ago. We're going to join a news conference live in just a couple of minutes. You see Chief Flynn coming to the family's house as well. Hopefully by the time we're back from break, they're ready to get this started. We'll be back in a bit. For your Monday this afternoon, here's a look at how the markets fared at the close of business today. More selling across the board. The Dow down 86, the NASDAQ down 19, S&P 500 9 points lower at the end of the trading day. If your finances are bad, you may only have yourself to blame. A new study revealing who the biggest financial influence is in our lives. When it comes to finances, turns out mom is the most popular answer among millennials. Not everybody else, though. The most popular is actually one's self. There are apps and finances, just about everything else out there.
CNN's Karen Kaifa takes a look at the gadget wave for parents, babies, and toddlers and what parents should keep in mind.
Infancy and childhood are becoming increasingly techie affairs, from better baby monitors to wired onesies. But the most common device in e-parenthood is the smartphone.
They're using it to communicate. They're using it also to consume information on apps, as well as to entertain their kids, shop online, and to keep themselves organized.
Julia Wang of pregnancy and parenting website TheBump.com says the wave of apps for tablets, smartphones, and soon more for wearables like the Apple Watch has brought parents closer to the information they want in those early days.
It allows parents to instantaneously get information at their fingertips, and it allows you to connect directly and seamlessly with other parents so that you never feel like you're going through this parenting journey alone.
But there are potential pitfalls, and privacy should always be paramount.
Be careful how much you're sharing about your children online, whether it's their date of birth, their full name, as well as their location of birth. And in the event that you're sharing photos and tagging it with geographical location, you want to be careful how much you share.
Make sure you understand how information is being used by an app and look for an opt-out option.
All right, we're going to leave that story a moment early here to get to the breaking news we began with this hour.
Yeah, there's a news conference happening right now. Chief Ed Flynn, let's listen in. And this news conference is about the shooting death of 5-year-old Layla Peterson. She was shot sitting on her grandfather's lap in that house. This happened 6 months ago. There have been no arrests in this case. We're expecting the chief to talk about a big reward that's out there right now for information leading to an arrest in the murder of Layla Peterson.
And police were able to link the bullets fired into this house to a gun that was used in a number of other crimes. That is the closest they have been able to get to anybody. And 6 months later, Chief Flynn is about to announce that they have a lot more money in the pool that hopefully will get somebody out there to come forward, somebody who knows something about who this was this night that fired shots in this house and killed a little girl sitting on her grandfather's lap. As you see the family standing off there to the side, the Peterson family, and again, a number of
This is something they wanted to have, too, at the home. They wanted this to be in front of the house where Layla was shot and killed 6 months ago.
The northwest side of the city of Milwaukee, where they are gathered this afternoon.
58th and Fairmount. Not sure what the chief is waiting for here. It looks like it's underway. Let's listen in.
With me today are members of the 7th District, many of whom were on the scene of the homicide 6 months ago today. Also with me are members of the Milwaukee Police Department Metropolitan Division, who are charged with investigating homicides, and these investigators and detectives have been directly involved in the investigation of the Layla Peterson murder. We're also joined by many family members, Attorney Michael Hubie, and other neighbors here joining the family in this event. It's been 6 months since Layla Peterson was brutally murdered in this house near this very spot. And for 6 months, the Milwaukee Police Department has devoted resources, significant resources, to trying to solve this case. We have chased down literally hundreds of leads. We've conducted dozens and dozens of personal interviews. We've sifted through physical evidence. We've run down rumors. We've gone to jails and prisons to talk to people who thought they had something to tell us about this case. We've run down telephone tips. But sadly, notwithstanding the $5,000 reward that the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Bureau offered in this case, and $5,000 donated by another concerned citizen and group of businessmen, we have not made significant progress. The murder of Layla Peterson remains unsolved. It weighs heavily on all of us. It weighs heavily on those officers who were here that night trying to assist her lifeless body in her moment of greatest peril. It was a memory that none of those officers and none of those detectives who were here that night will ever forget. We're here with her family, who remain scarred but hopeful that someday we will be able to secure justice for Layla Peterson. Today there's an announcement to be made by the family with Attorney Hupy to begin to hopefully move this forward. And we're hopeful that as a result of today's announcement, that some people out there who know something will be motivated to finally, at long last, do the right thing and share that precious information so important to us to bring justice to that precious lost life. Now we're going to have a spokesman for the family come up next from Faith Builders, and he will carry on the press event from there. Thank you.
I just want to thank everyone for coming out. So there is a total of a $35,000 reward right now. It's the $10,000 that was already put in place by ATF and the Citizens for Urban Justice. So this puts a significant number to somebody that has information. You know, I just want to let you know that even the slightest information could break this case, and there needs to be some closure to this. 6 months, it's a long time. So let me just put this out there, that there's some grandma and there's some dad or some mom that has information about this. Let me assure you that we're not just going to lock these people up and throw away the key. Yes, there's got to be justice, there's got to be consequences to our actions, but we're going to wrap around those people, and we're also going to try to bring peace and reconciliation to them also. There's something that's been going on that I think we do those things. We just throw away the key, and there's never really the root problem of what's going on. Why did this happen? And that's what we're going to do in this case, and that's what we're going to do in the other cases too, henceforward. So $35,000. Somebody has information. This family needs closure. This city needs closure. The officers need closure. The state needs closure to this. 6 months. Somebody has some information, and as little as you may think it is, that could be the break. So just call the number. One of the things I got to read though is that there's a specific thing for this, and you guys have this in your information, but the rewards will go to the first person to provide authorities with the information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person who fired the shot that killed Layla Peterson. So somebody has that information, and I know it's going to come forth. $35,000. Someone's going to give the information. But remember, if there's any kind of anything in someone's heart thinking that they were just going to throw away the key, we're not. We're not. We're going to help these people. The way we kind of look at this is there's two victims here. There's the suspect family victims, and then there's also Layla Peterson's family and the Fogo family victims. Okay? The only way we're going to change these things in the city of Milwaukee is to do that process, full circle with both families. And we're going to make some changes. So I'll let Attorney Hupy, who we're totally grateful that he would do this. Oh, and the other thing, too, we just found out about was billboards. Clear Channel and Attorney Hupy decided to donate their time and their money to do billboards. So you're going to be seeing those within the next couple months. It actually should be going out today at 4 o'clock. And you'll have Layla Peterson's picture on there, along with a number for a reward, and the amount of what that award's going to be is going to be $35,000. So thanks to Clear Channel, and I'll let Michael Hupy talk.
I visited with the Peterson family at Christmas time, and I had hoped that this crime would quickly be solved, but it hasn't. We're 6 months later, the police have no leads, and I'm offering a $25,000 reward to make the total reward $35,000. We've also arranged to have billboards electronically displayed in the city of Milwaukee announcing the reward and announcing the phone number that people should call at the police department if they have information.
I've been a young girl, a teenager. I've grown to become a woman and a mother, but my Layla will not. Who did this? Who did this to my beautiful addition to this world? Who took her out of it? Me and Layla's entire family need to know why and what happened on that disgraceful night. We've all gone through unimaginable pain. What would you say about yourself? How do you see our family grieving so hard and we don't have any answers? How would you feel about if this was your family? About you? Someone needs to step forward and stop being afraid. This shouldn't happen to anybody. Why let it continue? You need to be brave and you need to speak up for Layla.
Okay, so I'm just going to turn it back over to the chief, just in case you guys have questions for him. But just remember, somebody has information. It's up to us. It's not up to the police. The police are saying they need our help. It's up to us. Somebody come forth. Somebody come forth. Chief?
Thank you, Bill. Thank Attorney Hupy for this very generous contribution to a fund which we hope to use to bring Lila justice. Once again, I find myself thanking Clear Channel for being a good corporate citizen, for also donating billboard space to a very important cause. Let's just remember something right now. Layla Peterson isn't just the Petersons family's daughter. She belongs to all of Milwaukee, and she stands for good things about Milwaukee: innocence, a safe place to raise children, a place of opportunity. But she also stands for the tragedy of Milwaukee, which is too much violence, too many guns in the hands of criminals, too much bloodshed, too many lives lost, too many opportunities never realized. I hope I speak to all Milwaukeeans today, but most especially those who know something about this dreadful case. That when we help solve Layla Peterson's case, we're not just bringing her family justice, but we're putting a down payment on all the other families out there who have lost their Laylas and still don't have justice that they deserve, and still don't have the hope that this firearms violence will stop anytime soon. We're all here to take some questions, and so if you have some, we'll appropriate person will answer them.
Chief, can you tell us exactly where you can find these billboards that will have information?
Do you happen to know?
Question?
Where will the billboards be?
I don't know yet. We just arranged this afternoon, and they're going to start at 4 o'clock today. So I will probably have more information for you tomorrow.
Is there a contact number you can give her later?
You can call my office, 223-4800, and say it's a personal call so you don't get to run around, and I'll see if I can get more information for you.
And Chief, this isn't the first time that...
An emotional appeal from the family of Layla Peterson, her mother taking the podium there briefly, and from Faith Builders, the spokesperson for the family, trying to link the fact that somebody out there knows something about the two people police believe fired those 12 rounds into that house last November, killing little Layla Peterson.
Reward is now at $35,000. The mom pleading for someone to speak up for Layla. We're going to go to break. We'll be back after this.
Thanks for being part of the family here on today's TMJ4 Midweek Wednesday. I'm Scott Steele in the Weather Center, and the fog burning off inland with the sun getting higher in the day. And I'll tell you what, pretty nice now off to the west of Milwaukee, but still pretty foggy along the lakeshore in many spots. So your top weather headline, pea soup, persisting for our lakeshore communities, may happen again as we go through the night tonight. Whipping winds tomorrow as the readings rise as a warm front lifts to our north. And already notice the huge disparity in temperatures. 70s inland, 72 right now in Watertown for you fine folks there. 55 double nickels in Milwaukee where it's cooler along the lake, but everybody's still much warmer than we were yesterday at this time. There's that easterly breeze, the culprit keeping things much chillier in our eastern communities. Notice all that warmth out to the west. 74 right now in Des Moines. We're going to tap into that for tomorrow. Here's that big surge of moisture and warm air coming at us around low pressure off to the west. The warm front lifts up to our north. Should get warmer with growing instability by tomorrow and into tomorrow night. Again, the clouds thinning and the fog thinning off to the west with the fog still thick around here. But overnight should turn partly cloudy and future forecast showing much of the day tomorrow. Looks pretty nice. Your storm team forecast for the balance of today. Fog in the east up to 60 degrees, sun to the west. Temperatures tonight drop down to a very mild 51 degrees under partly cloudy skies. And tomorrow expect to see a nice summery day, a little morning fog burning off, then lots of sun and surging to 77 degrees. Your storm team for 7-day forecast calling for a lot of wet weather coming our way, but we remain warm on Friday. Saturday, the better of the two weekend days with some sun and just a few scattered raindrops. Stephen Court.
All right, Scott, thanks.
It's time now to ask the expert. Kombucha originated in China over 2,000 years ago. Recently has become a popular drink in the U.S.
Its growing popularity taps into the probiotic diet, the detox craze. Our registered dietitian, Lori Meyer, here to tell us about it. I think it's kind of gross because it has that kind of funky smell that you'd expect from a fermented product that you love.
Which I love fermented foods. I mean, it's been around for a long time. It's kind of new to a lot of people. It's actually a fermented tea-like beverage, and normally it's made out of black tea. You can also use green tea, herbal teas. There's some robos that are being made. It's with sugar, and usually a cane sugar, and then a SCOBY. And this, I have a sample of what SCOBY looks like, but it's a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. You can see that floating thing. And so you can actually take that with some kombucha and the sugar and the black tea and make your own. It ferments about 7 to 10 days. But it's, you know,
let's talk about the health benefits.
Health-wise, okay, it's not going to cure cancer and it's not going to cure heart disease, but it does give people energy. It can help to detox. It can help, might help with some weight loss. People have anecdotally said it reduced their acid reflux, ulcers. So with the whole digestive tract, it could be helpful. It could be helpful with cleansing and detox. So there can certainly be some benefit. It has antioxidants, the probiotics, some vitamins in it, and these organic acids.
Last 15 seconds, who should avoid this?
Well, the people that we're most concerned about, people who do have extreme liver disease because it's going to put more burden on their liver. Alcoholics, there is alcohol in this. Infants and children, nobody under 6 really should be drinking this. Diabetics need to be careful. Some are higher in sugar than others. And then we're also saying pregnant and breastfeeding women need to be cautious with this as well.
All right.
Lori Meyer, thanks.
Have a question for the expert? Here's how you get it to us.
right now from today's TMJ4.
This is Live at 4:30.
Now at 4:30, the fog lifted across southeast Wisconsin, but overcast skies remain. For a lot of us, we could see a return of some soupy weather tonight. Port Washington behind us. Soupy.
That's soupy.
Chance of thunderstorms in the forecast as well.
What can we expect in the way of weather tonight? Here's meteorologist Scott Steele.
Well, I think more of the same for our lakeshore community. Stephen Court, good to see you and all of you at home as well. We've got that easterly breeze off the chilly Lake Michigan waters, and there was little instability, a little wave in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, triggered a few showers earlier today. Storm Team 4 Max radar picking those up, but most of us have stayed dry through the day, just experiencing a lot of that low-level moisture. It has burned off inland, and we're starting to see plenty of sunshine. In fact, from our Waukesha County Tower Cam in Pewaukee, beautiful blue skies out of that fog burning through, and 63 nice warm degrees. Many locations in Waukesha County now topping 70 degrees. It's a little cooler along the lake still. Double nickels at Milwaukee's Mitchell International. Your weather word is surge. Get ready for temperatures, wind, and moisture to bump up in a big way tomorrow. A summery feel outside. For the rest of the day today, though, expect a difference east to west. In fact, west, sunshine and warm temperatures above 60, fog and cool temperatures along the lake in the 50s to near 60 degrees. I'll let you know when we all may see near 80 degrees in your complete forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Scott. More footage has emerged showing the moment Nepal was struck by a powerful earthquake. The video was filmed by a U.S. mountain hiker. It shows his wife going into a house and helping a member of their climbing party to safety. And a 7.8 magnitude quake struck late last month and has killed more than 7,500 people. The FAA loosened the rules on drones again today, only on an experimental basis and only for a few industries.
But possibly drawing closer to the day when a drone can deliver a package to your front door. Here's Chris Clackham with more.
The FAA's further easing of restrictions on commercial drones will let some farmers use them to inspect or spray crops. Let a railroad company perform aerial inspections of train tracks. And TV news crews use them over disasters like last week's earthquake in Nepal. But FAA's administrator says it's still about finding where commercial drones can fly safely.
It is not posing a hazard to flight, and it's not posing a hazard to individuals on the ground. That's ultimately what we're trying to get to.
The Pathfinder experiment, as it's called, is whether drones can be safely operated outside the line of sight of the operator. And the unmanned aircraft industry, which is holding a convention this week in Atlanta, is anxious but optimistic. The answer is yes.
You're going to see UAVs enter your everyday life.
Amazon and Google are hoping the experiment works so they can start drone deliveries to your front door.
I recognize everyone wants to get there. The important thing is we need to figure out how we get there safely and in a way that benefits the entire industry.
Since the FAA's first relaxing of the rules in February, and for the foreseeable future, operators must still be able to view their in-flight drone at all times, stay below 400 feet, and away from airports. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
The FAA also unveiled a small initiative for drone hobbyists, the Before You Fly smartphone app designed to help average drone users know if it's safe and legal to fly an unmanned craft in their location of choice.
More news now, and something from the only in Australia category. Surveillance video captured this unusual visitor to a hospital emergency room in New South Wales. The good news is the cuddly koala wasn't in need of any medical treatment, didn't encounter any patients before he or she left the building. The Milwaukee Brewers trying to turn Hank the ballpark pup into a guard dog of sorts.
As you might imagine, that is not going so well.
One of these bags has contraband. Hank, is this bag?
It's like, I don't smell any dog bones, I'm out.
Yeah, Hank would much rather sleep, eat, or be cuddled. I got to scratch his belly a couple weeks ago.
Yes, you did.
That was a thrill for both of us. The Brewers released this video just in time for this weekend's Bobble Hank giveaway on Mother's Day.
That'll be popular. An autistic teen vanishes without a trace in Mount Pleasant.
Carol Meekin's in the newsroom right now with the story coming up new on Live at 6.
Thank you very much, Stephen Courtney. It was 18 hours of terror for this family, but thankfully
that teenager is back home safe and sound, how he ended up in a different county, and how social media actually helped to bring that search to an end. We'll have much more on this coming up new on Live at 6. Steve, Courtney, back to both of you.
Carol, thanks. Coming up, addictions are hard to overcome.
But there is one addiction few people realize they have, despite the warning signs.
Plus, another look back at a story that unfolded in 1982, how Milwaukee made the news in a bad way.
Now to a career to remember. Mike Jacobs is retiring at the end of the month after 37 years.
And during that time, he's covered thousands of stories, including an assassination attempt on a presidential candidate's life. The shooter was a 21-year-old man from Milwaukee.
Arthur Bremer shot Alabama Governor George Wallace on May 15, 1972, while Wallace was holding a presidential campaign rally in Laurel, Maryland. Police immediately arrested Bremer, and after they learned his identity, Secret Service and FBI agents searched Bremer's Milwaukee apartment. Inside, they found a Confederate flag and .38 caliber bullets like the ones used to shoot Wallace. Bremer's father and his brother couldn't believe it.
There's no explanation for if it was him, his behavior, and what had happened. There's no explanation we can give at all.
Neighbors said Bremer was odd.
He never had many friends with him. He was always like a loner.
The 21-year-old loner from Milwaukee was convicted and sentenced to prison. Now, with a long, scraggly beard and a receding hairline, Bremer appears to have aged a lot in the last 10 years. His warden describes Bremer as a model prisoner who doesn't have many friends.
I can't say categorically that he does not have any friends or associates in here, but he's not the type of inmate that walks in a group in the yard or is with a group of people in the rec halls. He's basically a loner.
The Maryland Parole Commission recently refused to move up the date when Bremer will first be eligible for parole. Meanwhile, George Wallace is running for governor of Alabama again. We went to a campaign rally in tiny Aniana, Alabama, and asked Wallace how he feels about Arthur Bremer.
I have forgiven him for shooting me, and I hope that he's asked forgiveness for having shot me.
The unpublished first half of Bremer's diary is scheduled to be sold at public auction in Milwaukee next week. In the diary, he describes a plot to kill Wallace or then-President Richard Nixon. Scribbled in large capital letters, the words, "Me, assassin."
The diary also reveals possible motives for the assassination attempt, and it shows Arthur Bremer to be a confused, calculating, complex, friendless man. We'll take a closer look at the diary and talk to Bremer's mother, his warden, and Governor George Wallace this week on Arthur Bremer, Me, Assassin. I'm Mike Jacobs.
Bremer has been released from prison. Governor Wallace has died. We have the story behind this story coming up tonight on Live at 10.
And coming up, the sure signs you may be addicted to your smartphone.
And we welcome you back on this midweek Wednesday. Today's TMJ4. I'm Scott Steele in the Weather Center, and going into the record books today, our high so far 56 degrees, the low 45 degrees, but many locations inland warmer than that. Here's a live look right now from some of our tower cams across southeastern Wisconsin. Still some fog right along the lake, but inland locations enjoying beautiful sunshine. And that sun burning through what was pea soup. And that tops your weather headlines, because we may see a little more pea soup coming our way overnight tonight with some dense fog into tomorrow morning. Whipping winds for tomorrow, but they're going to be out of the south, helping those readings to rise behind a warm front that's lifting back to our north. Again, going over that high and low, 56 and 45. The normals, 62 and 44. So we were below normal today, except it's much warmer inland. We'll show you that in just a moment. But look at that record high, 91 degrees set back in 1934, and the record low 28 set back in 1967. Here are some of those neighborhood temperatures. This is amazing to see the huge difference across just a few miles in our viewing area. Shorewood now 53 degrees along the lake, still some foggy conditions there. You go inland all the way to the west, Western sections of Waukesha County, Dousman 71 degrees, Oconomowoc 71 degrees as well down to the south. Look at this, 74 in Elkhorn, 72 degrees for our friends in Lake Geneva, 75 in Delavan, but east along the lake, only the upper 50s in Racine and Kenosha. Similar story up to the north, 53 in Port right now, but inland locations 20 better in Waupun. Well, check out those winds. That's the story today. Easterly component keeping things cooler right along the lake. The sun burning through the fog and the clouds, allowing those temperatures to surge inland. And the satellite and radar combination showing just a few showers earlier today, lifting to the north. Here come those breaks in the clouds. The energy off to the west should hold off around here until tomorrow. In fact, you can see on future forecasts, most of tomorrow looks good until late in the day when we could start to see some spotty showers developing. So your Storm Team forecast for the balance of this midweek Wednesday: sunshine and warmth inland, but cooler and foggy conditions along the lake. Temperatures averaging near 60 degrees. Of course, much warmer well inland in that sun. Down to a mild 51 tonight with partly cloudy skies. Could see a little more patchy fog toward tomorrow morning, but that should burn off early Thursday. And then, boy, it's going to be summery tomorrow. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny, windy, warm. Temperatures all the way up to 77 degrees. I would not be the least bit surprised if some inland locations touch 80. Here comes your Storm Team 4 7-day forecast. More widespread showers and storms on Friday. Still into the 70s. Saturday, the better of the two weekend days with some sunshine. Just a few raindrops out there. And then Sunday looks to be rather wet and cooling down to near 60 degrees. So enjoy the 70s to near 80 degrees over the next couple of days, you guys. It'll feel like summer.
Scott, thank you. Remember the days when we did not have a cell phone? It's hard if you actually think about it.
Long time ago. Now cell phones are everywhere. They're used for everything, so much so some professionals think it's becoming a serious problem. Lauren Johnson explains.
It's okay to try and be connected to others via the phone. I mean, it's supposed to enhance our lives. It can.
But Horn also believes overusing phones is affecting how people develop relationships.
Their real goal is to find connections and that kind of thing. So they end up having the opposite effect, creating, again, more of a sense of isolation.
So how much is too much? Every day at work, I call, email, and text the people I'm interviewing. Then I use GPS to get from place to place. When I'm there, I'm taking pictures with my phone, and then I'm tweeting them back to Idaho on your side and Facebooking. If I didn't have my phone at work, I might really... Oh, hello? Oh, hey there.
Panic? That's exactly what I would do without my phone at work, and Horn says that's not a good sign. But what else?
You or I might not have our cell phone and think, oh, what am I missing? The person who's truly addicted would be experiencing such discomfort that they would feel completely out of control.
Horn says low self-worth can be a trigger.
Getting text messages or emails and that kind of thing, there's an immediate sense of, gosh, somebody cares about me. I must be worthwhile.
She tells me it's okay to leave work and put my phone away.
Sending emails and texts later into the night, that kind of hyper responsibility can also be masking a sense of, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. I should be doing more. What if somebody finds out that I'm not as good as they may think?
But it's not just working professionals. Horn's biggest concern, how cell phones are affecting teens and college students, who she says can be on their phones up to 10 hours each day.
We're forgetting how to communicate one-on-one with real-life people.
Horn encourages parents to stay involved.
But you also need to know what they're doing on their phones, have a sense of how long they're on their phones, and make sure that there's that balance of having real-life interactions as well.
Good advice. Coming up, 4 rules to abide by if you often use a treadmill.
We'll show you how to stay safe. First, here's what's on your TV tonight when you're on that treadmill. We'll start at 6:30 with Wisconsin Tonight. The Mysteries of Laura on after that, then Law and Order SVU and Chicago PD. We are back with all your news on Live at 10.
And now from today's TMJ4, this is your game day forecast.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Storm Team 4 meteorologist Scott Steele in the Weather Center. Here's the pitch. And check it out tonight. Looks pretty good. Partly cloudy and mild. Our temperatures hovering near 60 degrees. Winds lightening up. Tomorrow looks even more summery with temperatures in the 70s. Go Brewers and play ball.
Thanks, fans, from Storm Team 4, the official weather team of the Milwaukee Brewers.
More news now. We are learning more about the bizarre death of a successful Silicon Valley CEO. Mexican authorities say David Goldberg died of head trauma after falling off a treadmill while he was on vacation. Goldberg was married to Facebook executive Sheryl Sandberg. He was just 47 years old. In the wake of Goldberg's untimely death, NBC's taken a hard look at some alarming numbers.
NBC's Joe Fryer has a look at the safety of exercise equipment.
They're designed to keep you healthy by burning calories, all without ever stepping foot outside.
In my opinion, it's probably one of the best pieces of equipment when it comes to cardio.
But treadmills can be dangerous. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission estimates there were 24,000 injuries on treadmills in 2014 and 30 reported deaths between 2003 and 2012. Professor Janessa Graves has studied the issue, focusing on emergency room visits surrounding the use of exercise machines in people's homes.
And so I think that more households now do have them, and if it's greater exposure, we're going to see an uptick in injuries.
Her research found treadmill machines comprise 66% of injuries with home exercise equipment. Graves was inspired to look into the issue after what happened to her friend and fellow researcher Monica Vavilala.
I got on the treadmill, and about 15 minutes into my jog, I sneezed. And this is going to sound really strange, I lost my balance.
She broke 3 little bones in her foot.
I mean, you can seriously injure yourself if you do fall off the back with these things.
Zokai Holmes is a personal trainer at Crunch Gym.
As you're going, where should you try and be on the treadmill?
You want to be fairly close, like in this area. You don't want to be right up against it because sometimes you can hit a button and turn it off or speed it up.
He says reading or using your phone can be a distraction.
If you're talking to someone or if you're on your iPhone or something and you start to lose your focus, you'll start to drift back. It sounds like tires squealing, and that's basically the last roller. Right after that, you're hitting the floor.
Joe Fryer, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Other treadmill tips: start slowly, especially if you have not used one in a while.
Yeah, and if the machine's going too fast, get your feet to those side rails. Make sure you're hanging on too. For in-home treadmills, know how to maintain them, and always keep young kids away from the treadmill. We're back after this. And thanks for joining us at 4:30.
The news continues now with Live at 5.
Next at 5, raising the stakes. The new push to find the gunman who killed a 5-year-old Milwaukee girl who was sitting on her grandfather's lap. Live at 5 starts now.